nice, and I stretched out my tentacles throughout the entire country, and I selected two able fine ladies to talk to us about this particular topic for today, since they are the experts. We take on a jingle break. When we come back, we unveil our topic of conversation and our guest. If you're a fervent viewer of the program Nature's Corner, then you know when we come in, we start first, of course, by giving you update as to what is making news in the environmental sector. We take you through the globe and also in Cameroon to tell you what is making news, so perhaps you can be able to adjust your own activities as to what is happening to your brothers and sisters across the globe. And we start this time in Pakistan, where about 19 persons have been killed due to lightning. Yes, at least 39 people rather. At least 39 people have been killed in Pakistan after they witnessed days of unusual rains in the country's southwest, which was accompanied with lightning. Some of those killed were farmers struck by lightning while harvesting wheat, so says authorities. Pakistan has experienced an increase in extreme weather events as it grapples with the impact of climate change. And Pakistan's National Disaster Management Authority has warned of more landslides and flash floods in the coming days. It should be noted that in 2022, parts of Pakistan were completely submerged by floods, killing more than 1,700 people, injuring thousands, with many persons displaced. And from Pakistan, we take you to Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, where on Tuesday the country was plagued by a storm which caused flooding in the country. And according to report that we got, the Dubai International Airport was blocked, which is a major travel hub, as the airport authorities struggled to clear a backlog of flights, and many roads were still flooded, and people were trapped in traffic due to the flooding situations. They were also trapped in their houses and offices, and buses and cars were almost entirely submerged in water. And we just hope that people over there in Dubai are trying to return to normalcy, as we hear reports that as of this Thursday, authorities in Dubai are struggling to ensure that residents recover from that flooding situation that happened on a Tuesday. Now let's talk general issues not limited to a particular country per se. Scientists have warned that sea corals are turning white and are seriously bleaching due to climate change and overheating in the oceans. What does this mean? It means that those flowers beneath the ocean, those flowers that are beneath the ocean that you think are just flowers, but are very important, because how important they are, these flowers are where our fishes go to eat and reproduce, these same fishes that we consume. And if there are no fishes, it means we'll have nothing to eat. So technically, if there are no corals, it means we'll have little or no fishes. And if there are no fishes, it means we'll have little or nothing to eat. And many local economics like that of Limbe, they will stop having a means of survival because the corals are turning white. But of course, I will meet Aisha Mbeng, as she'll give us details of this coral situation. She went through the reports from the scientists, and she's now compiled this report for us to watch and see just how detrimental the situation is.
Scientists at the world's top coral reef monitoring body warned on Monday, April 15, 2024, that the health of the world's coral has significantly deteriorated. Experts from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) and International Coral Reef Initiative (ICRI) said that the coral reef bleaching across at least 53 countries, territories or local economies has been confirmed from February 2023 to now.
Currently, more than 54% of the reef areas around the globe have experienced bleaching level heat stress in the last year, and that number is growing by about 1% per week. So the previous record was 56% of the reef areas experienced bleaching level heat stress during the third global coral bleaching event, which took place from 2014 to 2017. So this event is likely to become more spatially extensive than that event within the next couple of weeks.
Coral reefs are important ecosystems that sustain underwater life, protect biodiversity, and slow erosion. They also support local economies through tourism. This year's bleaching follows the declaration that 2023 was the hottest year on record. Bleaching happens when stressed coral expel the algae that are their food source and give them their color. This can result in coral death. Warming oceans are not good news for coral reefs.
Unfortunately, this problem won't go away until there is international cooperation to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So this problem is only going to get worse as time goes on and the oceans continue to warm, unfortunately. So in the interim, one of the goals of the management and science community is to try to reduce all the additional stressors that might be impacting reefs.
Coral death can be avoided if the stress driving the bleaching diminishes. Coral can then recover with reefs maintaining their biodiversity and continuing to provide the ecosystem services that we rely on. The International Coral Reef Initiative, a partnership of 101 international members, has developed strategies to increase the emphasis on their restoration, has incorporated resilience-based management practices into its 2018 strategy plan. But action must be taken now.
If you're just tuning in, the program you're watching right about now on your screens is Nature's Corner, which is aired on High Television every Thursday as from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. What is our goal? To educate you, inform you, and ensure that you are well connected to your environment, so you know what is happening concerning the environment and you can take precaution. Why should you take precaution? Because it concerns you. Because when the flood last year of 18 March in Boyatown, when it happened, it was our brothers and sisters who died. It was our houses that were destroyed. It was our businesses that were destroyed. It was our vehicles, our cars, and it was our brothers and sisters that were injured. The same thing for Limbe and Bankolo. So every little thing that happens in the environment concerns you. And of course, we're here to tell you how you can adapt to these occurrences and how you can also help to contribute to prevent these things from happening. And today we are talking about agriculture. Today we're not just telling you how to protect the environment, we're also telling you how to farm, which will yield you enough products, enough farm use. I know that you want your Makabo cocoa to be looking like this, one big, very, 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 very big. But of course you have to put in the effort. That's why we have the experts here to give you the little knowledge they know as concerns to agriculture and pertaining particularly to the season that we find ourselves in. Our topic for today is the right crop to plant and farming techniques to use this rainy season. And to speak on this particular issue, I have here with me two able ladies who are experts in the field. I'll start first on my left as I meet one strong, fine lady. She is a crop production student at the University of Buea, and she is making phenomenal efforts in our community despite being a student and her young age. She goes by the name Musa Milinash. Hello to you, Milinash.
Hello, madam. Thank you very much.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's the first time we're having you on the program. Such a pleasure.
Thank you, ma. And it's a pleasure too.
All right, and we move over now to one big madam seated by my right. She has been here before, so if you're watching the program, you must have seen her face before. She is a regeneration expert, a climate change advocate. She is one strong activist we have right here in Buea who strives to establish the relationship between agriculture and climate change, looking to see what farmers do that contribute to climate change, and also how farmers can adapt to the effects of climate change. She has trained several persons here in Buea on regenerative agriculture and how to produce synthetic fertilizers. She is the founder or the co-founder of Power for Change Solutions, a non-government organization right here in Buea, and she has traveled far and wide. She'll be the one to tell you where she has traveled. I will not tell you. Hello to you, Mucha Felicia.
Thank you very much, Madam Javi. It's a pleasure again to be here on High TV to talk more about crop and to talk about agriculture and to talk about disaster. It's a very timely topic. I'm so happy, I'm so excited, and I know that my farmers are there, viewers are there. Please take Glo to your TV state. You get a lot of knowledge, you got a lot of experience that will help you this farming season, and please, when you learn to share it too.
Of course, when you learn to share. Tell me, Motia, I will not be surprised to hear that maybe you pass by the farm before coming to the show.
It's very interesting. In the morning, I went right to Wotutu, Limbe, to visit one of my farmer, and we discussed a lot before coming here. So I was with my farmer.
So how is the soil?
The soil is already moist very well because we had more than 5 or 3 rains. So everywhere now is wet. All what you must have put on the ground, even the yam, the maize, all have germinated, and everywhere is getting green.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get over to Milinaj. Milinaj, you are a crop production student in the University of Buea, and when I was speaking with you people behind the scenes, you guys mentioned the planting season, this planting season, and I'm wondering what planting season is this, because we are one of those who call in quote born for course. Unapologetically, and we don't know anything about farming because maybe we didn't go to the farm regularly. So I may be out there and maybe I want to venture into agriculture, but now this is the planting season. I don't quite get it. So maybe you can please explain to me and my viewers the planting season that we find ourselves in and what provides us this particular season.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jabi. Okay, so we find ourselves in the first planting season. That's because we have 2 planting seasons in Cameroon. That is the first planting season, which run between March to June, and the second planting season between September to December. So right now we are in the first planting season, which is like one of the best seasons where we can cultivate most of our crop, mainly for consumption. Because during this period, let me say, places are really wet. For example, if you are cultivating maize now, you are harvesting it maybe during the harvesting period, ending June or early July, which is still within the rainy season. That harvest will be mostly for consumption. So this is a planting season where I'll say that crops are mostly planted for consumption, and also it can be sold based on the way the crop is being stored. Thank you,
based on the way the crop is being sold. I think we'll get to that aspect, the storage.
Yeah.
Felicia, you were talking about the soil being moist this season. What advantage does it bring, and why is it because of the rains that, like you rightly said, and how many rains should one wait before planting, or is it should we start planting already, or should we have planted already since a few weeks back?
Okay, thank you. You know, in anything we discuss regard to agriculture, we look into climate change. Okay. At first, our agronomic calendar will encourage us that we should go in for the 15th of March. But because of climate change, I encourage my farmers to observe well. And we are already in April. So at this moment, any serious farmer, anyone that wants to engage his or herself into farming must have at least prepare the farm. Let me not just conclude by saying that plant, because it's a process. It's something that takes a process. For you to plant a crop, you have to first of all secure a site, prepare your plant, get your seedlings well selected, well preserved. Then you prepare your farm. Any serious farmer by now, you must have prepared your farm, and the soil is well moist, the water is there. When you plant your crop, which crop that you plant, you will normally pick up very well. So for now, like this, any serious farmer, and when we say this is the farming season, you know, people have, a good farmer will have at least 3 or 4 pieces of land that he's cultivating, and at this season like this, farmers can cultivate in all the 3 different pieces of land. But off season, you just manage just 1 piece of land because you do irrigational farming. Places are dry. Sometimes you go in only for vegetable. And with this farming season, you plant all the crops.
All the crops
in one farm. No, that's mixed cropping. That's why I'm saying that this season like this, people, good farmers or strong farmers, those are into agriculture, can have at least 3 or 4 different pieces of land that they do cultivate. In those 4 different pieces of land, you can now plant all the different crops that you want to go in for. Sometimes you want to go in for yam, you may have your yam farm, you may have your cassava farm, you may have your vegetable farm, then and also a farm that you are doing mixed cropping where you plant maize, beans, granules.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask, because I remember the last time when I went to my maternal village and I saw my grandma, there was a farm where you see see maize, you see groundnut there, maybe some other things that they mix like 2-3 crops.
And it's very nice.
Okay.
And it's very nice. I encourage all my farmers. It had a lot of benefits. It had a lot of advantage. It's very productive. It protects the soil. It's good for you. You manage a piece of land and you get a lot of yield. So mixed cropping is encouraged this season because you are not begging for water. The natural rain will normally comes and all your crops will now go very well. But there is a technique that is good to do the planting. It doesn't mean when I say mixed cropping, you just mix everything. When you have planted yam, you plant everything. No, but there are crops that you will go through. So as we are discussing, we'll move towards that and we'll take our time. We'll give an example on how you go about mixed cropping and the importance of mixed cropping.
I just want us to just hit the hammer on the nail at this particular point. So while they're listening now, maybe they just understand what kind of crops they can mix together, because I understand not every crop, not every crop can be mixed. Melinash, you are a crop production student, probably from your knowledge in school and practical experience, because I know you are volunteering with Power Change Solutions. Tell us what are some of those crops that we can mix together in one farm to ensure that we get that productive yield that Felicia is talking about.
All right, thank you very much. So I'd like to talk on the crops that we are supposed to mix. For example, you can mix corn and beans with groundnut, because beans and groundnut are beneficial to the soil. They help to fix nitrogen in the soil. Don't use crops like maybe yams and cassava, you cultivate it with maybe maize and beans in the same piece of land. No, it's not advisable, because first of all, cassava and yams are heavy feeders. That means they feed more on nutrients. If you are cultivating maize and cassava, know that you will have a loss in your maize because the cassava is draining all the nutrients. Yes, so I'll advise farmers to be careful of heavy feeders. We have tubers are heavy feeders. We have cassava, we have yams, we have cocoa yams. Even if you are planting cocoa yam in the same piece of land with other crops, the planting distance should be there, because
I have seen in some farms, I think if I may have noticed that you see cocoa yams and other crops in a particular farm. So you're saying that it's not good?
Yeah, it's not good, but if you are planting it in the same piece of land, the planting distance should be there.
Okay.
Because the planting distance is like, if let me say for example maize, if you are cultivating maize, we have 75 by 50. We give that gap because we want that plant to have enough surface area to fit, because when the roots are penetrating, it's absorbing nutrients. So if the planting distance is not enough, it will not give enough space for that plant to fit, because plants also need food to grow. They need food to grow, they need water to grow, they need nutrients to grow. So if as a farmer you need to respect your planting distance, that's the advice I want to give to farmers. They should respect their planting distance and they should be careful of heavy feeders. Maybe if you want to plant your cassava, if you don't have a big piece of land, because there are some people who are suffering from lack of lands, they can plant it maybe before you're harvesting your maize. You can plant a cassava then. You cannot plant it at the same time with the maize. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, thank you very
as
much.
well. So after this, I should just go and be looking for the farmland.
Yes, to add something that I would like farmers know, if we say mixed cropping, like how Melina, she's explaining that if you are to do mixed cropping, it doesn't mean if I encourage that you should plant something like cassava, maize, groundnut and beans in the same piece of land. That day that you have to put cassava, as you are putting cassava, you are putting maize, you are putting that, you should just seal one big hole and you put everything. No, it doesn't go like that. There must be that distance and there is time for you to do that. The first crop that will encourage is that's why I talk about seed selection. That if you must have selected your seed like cassava, people just cut cassava and they just put it on the soil. No, you need to first of all cut the cassava. When you cut them in those stems like that, you need to cover them so that they will germinate very well. You already prepare your cassava. Then you plant your maize. When you plant your maize, you can plant your maize and your beans in the same day. When you plant it as after like let's say 1 month, the maize and the beans must have germinated very well. Then you will really see the space. Sometimes you must have made a mistake and you have took it up. You can now struggle to uproot some so that you should reduce competition. Because we are talking all this about competition. When you see the space now, that's when you spot out where you can put cassava. And when you are putting your cassava, you yourself, you are seeing how the space is available. But that same day when you want to plant everything, it will not go like that. So we encourage farmers that it doesn't mean when we say mixed cropping, you plant everything, you just put everything at once. And also we'll talk about the planting. Planting to also go about the designing of it. You can also partition your farm. You say, okay, this section is only for maize, this section is only for beans. Why this section I will do the mixed cropping? It doesn't mean I will say mixed cropping all your entire farm. Like those are having those are going for plantain. Yes, plantain is very good. When you are planting your maize, you can spot one or two plantain that you are putting in the distance. And when you are planting plantain, it's good because it helps to protect winds. It helps to hold winds. Like today, I noticed that the rain this night was having a lot of wind. When you move all the maize now, they are sleeping. And if you look at it, if it is a place that they must have put, sometimes they must have put some tree crops, like let's say like a plum, or they must have put pear, or they must have planted even plantain. You see how you have to protect the wind. And we encourage people, please, mostly those are going for maize, see how you plant your maize in rows. You make sure that you put them in straight lines. When you put it like that, it helps to protect them from wind. It helps to protect the crops from erosion. So when we talk of mixed cropping, it doesn't mean you just plant haphazard. It should be well organized. You can see partition your farm. Like I said, it's very good that you partition your farm, and it helps too for rotation. When you are doing a crop rotation, my farmers will understand that very well. When you are leaving this section to go to this section, it helps you so much. So everything is all about organizing it very well. You can do mixed cropping, but you don't have a good harvest. You see, everyone will be just choked up. There is no ventilation. There is nothing. There is too much competition. And at the end, you say that I planted everything. That's why we say that than for you to plant everything and at the end you do not harvest. Better you partition your farm where there's a section for this, there's a section for this. So we also encourage that too.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to throw in, I don't know which of you want to take it, since we're talking about crops, and I'm wondering, this is the rainy season, we're already creeping in greatly into the rainy season, and I'm wondering what kind of crops are good to plant at this particular time, because I used to hear our mothers will say this time we plant our corn, or maybe we plant dry season corn, rainy season corn, and I really could not understand which one is dry season corn and which one is rainy season corn. So which crop is favorable to plant at this particular point in time?
Okay, yeah, in regards to the crop, like we said, all the crops are encouraged. But as a farmer, like I said, as a farmer, it's just for you to be very technical and wise. Those that want to go in for, particularly I will go in for beans, because it's difficult to get beans mostly this farming season. Because when you plant beans now, by the time that you're about to harvest it, we are already inside rainy season. And if you are a farmer that you are not very careful or manage your time well, at the end you see rain now, the water will just destroy the beans and you'll be unable to harvest your beans. So mostly we encourage farmers that go in for, like you say, your mother will tell you, go in for dry season beans. That's, you plant your beans mostly in the month of September, so that October, November, everywhere is dry. So by December you can harvest your beans very happily, because everywhere is dry. Rain will not destroy it. But because of the nutritional the nitrogen content that beans gives in the soil, we encourage farmers that still go in for it, but not in a large scale or in a large quantity. You can just take that. So I say you partition your farm, a small piece. You see how you plant your beans there. You can plant the beans now, not particularly more for consumption, but you are planting it so that you get seedlings that you'll be able to plant it when the rain dry season will come.
Okay, so we must not plant necessarily just to have.
Yes, it's not all about planting that you want to have. Somebody like me, I'm having this local adapted maize. I have them, the black, the white, the red, and even the yellow maize. And I'm not planting it because I want to eat, but I want to have seed. That's why I had to position my farm, partition it very well, ensure that, okay, this section I've planted my red corn, I've planted my black corn, I've planted my white corn, so that by the next planting season, I'll make sure that I have all of it. Then also, when we talk of crops like, let's say, plantain, it's good that as a farmer, please, if you have opportunity, see how you plant your plantain now in the month of April, so that by May, it has already picks out its roots. June, you see how it's freshing with the rain that we'll be having in June and July. You see how the plantain will be doing well. But just imagine that you are planting plantain, but in the month of July, August, when we are in the heart of a rainy season, let me put it like that. Normally, water will kill it, because too much of a thing is a disease. So if you are planting your plantain, but in August, know that you will not do well. It will be difficult. You need serious monitoring and guidance. So everything is about monitoring and guidance. Even when I are saying that this is the best farming season, plant. If you don't monitor it well, if you don't go to your farm and you're always there to check your crop, do the cleaning, do the mulching, it's a problem. Because when we talk of planting, if you plant all those crops like maize now, like this maize that they are all sleeping like that, if you are planting, I don't do the mulch that you add ground on it, you put grass on under, it will not make it very loose, it will not be firm. So everything is about planning.
It brings me to the question that I was about to ask, the farming techniques to use this particular season, because I may not be an expert farmer, but one thing I know is that the soil during the dry season is tough and arid more than that of the rainy season. And you know, during the dry season you have to how do they call it, digging more, or it's difficult to dig in because of the nature of the soil. So now we have a different nature of the soil in Nigeria because the rainy season makes it more moist. And so what are some of the techniques that farmers can take advantage of to ensure that they have a good use this season?
Okay, thank you very much. Before going to that question, I would like to throw more light on what Madam Felicia was saying. When going into production, it depends on what you want to consume that product for. It depends. If you are like a commercial farmer, for example, you can cultivate all round, because you, as a commercial farmer, you cannot say that I'm cultivating only during the rainy season, because you are working on a deficit. So as a commercial farmer, you need to cultivate round the season. Like she said, you cultivate all the crops, but now it will depend on how you manage it. Now I come now to the question that Marjorie is asking me. So how will you manage your crops during this season? Because actually with change of climate, we have pests, we have diseases. For example, fungi. Because when you go to your plot now, so people will see white moles on their bed. That's because of excess cold. Some of these diseases and pests are affected by the climatic condition. Maybe the rains will come with a particular pest, but during the dry season you will not see that pest. So as a farmer, you need to know when to plant that crop. You need to know when a particular pest or a particular disease is affecting that crop, so that you'll be able to manage it. Like for example, how can you manage it? You talk now of the variety, the type of the seeds that you use, because there are resistant seeds and there are susceptible seeds. Resistant seeds are seeds that can withstand all conditions, all weather conditions, while susceptible seeds are seeds that they easily get attacked.
Can you give an example as you speak of this?
Okay, for a certified seed, for example, like Madam Felicia said, she has the old varieties.
Local adapted.
Yeah, the local adapted seeds.
Not the GMO.
Not the genetically modified seed like the GMOs. The GMOs are easily susceptible. They are easily susceptible. I'll advise farmers to get certified seeds.
So when farmers go to the market, like, do they know these terminologies, certified seeds and GMO?
That's why they are agricultural ministries.
Okay.
So they are those ministries, but farmers don't make use of them because there are experts there who can direct them on how
if
to.
A farmer goes, the question is, if a farmer goes to the market now, how does a farmer differentiate between the certified seeds and the GMO, as you put it?
Like what Melina is struggling to explain, my farmers, they will best understand this as they are watching. I know they will understand me very well. We have institutions like Soeda. Soeda is there for us. They have certified seeds that is good, so we encourage them to go in for it. Like I'm talking about the local adapted seed. When I show it to all the where I've carried out my sensitization, when I present it, because I got this in one agric show in Yaoundé, and when I show it, they're like, yes, we know it. They know it very well. They know local adapted seeds. These are seeds. When we talk of local adapted seeds, these are seeds our parents were planting. They know it very well. But when we talk about GMO, these are the ones that have been chemicalized. Let me put it like that. So they already know the difference between these things. Yes, that's the truth. Our farmers know it very. And you that you are watching me, if you are doubting and you don't know it, Soeda is there. I will refer you to Soeda. It's a government institution, it's a state institution. You go there, we have experts there. They are very friendly, they are very open to share with you, so you can get some of those knowledge about how you can get your seed.
Okay, back to you, Melina. Before we go to the certified and GMO or NGO, I don't know what. So you were trying to explain something.
All right. So I was saying that with change of seasons, you have different pests and diseases. Maybe during the rainy seasons, fungi are really they are how can I put it? Fungi are really adapted during when places are moist. You see them, they grow very fast because water favors their growth. So during that period now, when you start seeing a fungi attack in your plant, you need to know how to control it. you need to know how to control it. Another one is that for pests, example, we have fall armyworm, which is very common in maize. When you start seeing the signs, because they usually move a powdery substance on the plant, when you start seeing it, you need to know that that plant is affected by fall armyworm. So what you do, as us, we are promoting organic, we are promoting sustainable agriculture. I will not advise you to go into direct application of pesticides. You first of all look at the damage of it. When you look at it and you see that the damage is too much, you look for it, because you take your time. Farming is time. You need to be patient in everything you do. You look at it and see if you can identify or see that fall armyworm in that maize. If you cannot see, that's when now you take your local Archis Fire. Because of promote that farmers should go in for organic. You go in for Archis Fire and apply it on those maize, and you see how the damage will reduce, their population will be reduced. Another way is that you always have drainage during the rainy season. Like she said, you organize your farm in such a way that even if there's heavy rains, the water will be able to pass. Because there are some areas they hold water too much. There are heavy soils that water cannot easily pass. So what you do, you arrange your farm in such a way that there's a drainage, so that you know that your plot is there's always water standing. Because when water stand like that, it will cause logging in the plants. And when there's logging like that, it will make your plant to get rot easily. Because if there's excess water, your plant will easily get rot. So what will you do? You create that drainage so that even if the rains are heavy, the water will be able to pass.
Okay. Melinash, you spoke about how to control fungi.
Yeah.
And the first of all, I don't know if in the middle of this conversation if you explained it, or if you can just explain how to control fungi for farmers. As you say, this rainy season, fungi are more prevalent in the farm.
Yes, this rainy season, fungi are more prevalent to the farm, because there's this encouragement, this technique, because we are talking about technique. We have this technique that we encourage from. We'll talk about organic liquid fertilizer. It helps to bring the fertility of the soil, and it also serves as insecticide. Like she mentioned, one of the item used is wood ash that we use it. So we have organic pesticides. Our farmers, please, there is organic pesticide. You must not go and get those synthetic pesticide and you are applying on your crops, which will even cause more harm. But rather you go for organic pesticide. These are common things that you use to produce it. So it's just for you to be close. In our training that will be coming up, we'll do some of those training. I wish some of them can partake. You that you are watching me, if you can get to me, even on Facebook, you see how you can get some of those things. And when you apply organic pesticides, it helps to fight against all these pests that will affect your plant. For you to scale through, go for organic pesticide. That's what I can add on that.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, dear viewers. You're still on to Nature's Canal Behind Television, and it's such an interesting conversation we're having right here. Free consultancy for you, huh? And you just watch High TV and you get free consultancy on farming, thanks to courtesy the two experts we have here on the program. We are talking about farming techniques this season. We're talking about the kind of crops to plant and the farming techniques to make use of this particular rainy season, this planting season in which we find ourselves in. And we have in the house Motia Felicia, a climate change advocate, regeneration expert, and we have also Musa Melinash, who's a crop production student, and they have been educating us about all of these things. We're taking a jingle break, but we'll come back. We continue the conversation in total. Welcome back, fervent viewers of High Television. You're on to Nature's Corner, the environmental program of High Television that seeks to give you information and education that's concerned to the environment and that's concerned to our daily lives and daily activities which affect the environment or which may be affected by the environment. Because remember, the environment is not a far-fetched idea. It is not so abstract. It's not something that is something very, 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 very far or only for big book, you know. It is where we find ourselves in the house, where you build your house is environment. where you farm is the environment, and how you treat this environment to depend on how it treats you back. And that is why today we are looking at how to plant crops, the right crops to plant and the farming techniques to use. Because if you don't treat the soil right, the soil too will not treat you fine. Because if you don't plant well, I survey the kind of crops you will have to harvest when it's time for harvesting. And what about now? Let's look at something, another angle of this farming situation. When I was giving you info about some of the things happening around the globe, and when I mentioned the flooding in Pakistan, I'm sure if you were keen, you must have noticed that I did mention that some farmers were killed in Pakistan. That 39% were killed in Pakistan due to lightning and flooding. But amongst these 39 people were farmers who were trying to harvest when they were killed. But of course, it may not really be the same instance all over, but we may experience such things, we are hearing floods in different countries like Australia, Russia, and we are also receiving floods in Kenya as well, a fellow African country. Let's not go far. Every rainy season, we know the towns of Limbe and Douala are very prone to flooding situations. We thought maybe Boya was some kind of a safe haven. Last year, it proved us wrong, as 18 March 2023, we witnessed a flood in Boya town. A little boy died on 16 April there at Great Sokol. And the following week again, still in April, a young girl was found dead in a gutter due to flooding situation. And we are tempted to ask the question, what happens to our crops and farm yields when these flooding situations happen, and what can we do to prevent such what can we do to prevent us being so affected, or to mitigate the impact of these flooding situations to us? Let me start with you, Felicia. Melinaj mentioned a drainage system. As a journalist, I've just been exposed to one thing I never knew before, and we learn every day. Before, when I used to talk about flooding and farms, I just used to know that when the flood comes, when the heavy water comes, they will carry crops away, and you see maybe a maize sleeping on the ground, they have been destroyed. But little did I know that excess rainwater can also affect the root of the plant and can make it get rotten. Maybe you want to shed more light on that.
Yeah, in regard to drainage, when we talk of drainage, it depends on how you plant your crops. And when you want to plant your crop, like we have been explaining, you see how you make sure that you plant it in straight lines, so that if there is water coming in, if there is flood occurring up, it will just come and pass out, and you see your crops now, they will be standing. We encourage our farmers should please go in for agroforestry. When I talk of agroforestry, is that where you are cultivating, see how you plant in some trees in it. Mostly fruit trees. I always encourage farmers. You'll be very happy that harvesting is not only in a particular section, but you see that you'll be harvesting all through. So for you to see how you can manage such a situation, see how you put in some trees in your piece of land that you are planting.
What does that tree do to the farm?
The tree helps to reduce the speed that the water is coming down, and also when there is too much wind, like this last night, the tree helps to reduce the wind, the intensity of the wind. It helps to reduce it. So encourage farmers to go for that. Then also, as we are talking about a disaster, as a farmer, please, we should see how we avoid risk zone. Like in Boya, we had our flood from the mountain. Most of that place, they will call it locally that water erodes. Let me put it like that, so that my farmers will basically relay with me. That water erode. They have identified some of those points in Boya. But you see some stubborn farmers, they will still go there. I don't know. I feel so bad because they have already identified some of these places that no, this area like this is dangerous, this area like this is dangerous. Even like our Bonaberi street in Boya town, that this area like this is dangerous. Even like in Bokwai, we once have it, there's a path. This water, it has its path. If they have identified some of those risk zones, please avoid it. We know that we have a serious crisis for getting a piece of land in Boya to cultivate. Please avoid it. There is no second life. Your life is important. The crop is important. Like what Madam Jabi is explaining in Pakistan. You see, when the flood occur, it's not only about the crop, but even your own life. So please, your life is very important. Not that they will give it to you, know that this is the road that water will come and pass. You are only there cultivating. It will destroy you, will destroy your crop. Please please, my dear farmers, let's avoid rake zone.
Okay, Melina, would you want to add voice to what Felicia is saying and give other mechanisms or ways in which farmers can help mitigate impact of flood or adapt to this effect of climate change?
All right, thank you very much, Ma'am Jabi. All right, I would like to add something. Normally we know all these floods and earthquakes and all the like, they are natural disasters which we ourselves we cannot predict them. But there are ways in which we can mitigate them. Those are one of the ways that she's saying. How can you know that this is a path where water usually flow and you always cause a disaster and you go there? It means that you don't value your life now. Because if you value your life, you will not do what is not supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Then another one which I'll talk about is a drainage. Yes, I'll really emphasize on that drainage and the way you arrange your farm. Because you cannot carry your plants and put all of them in the same place. When they start falling, you say, hey, if I be no is always, it always can be at the last, of which you are supposed to take into those tactics, those techniques. You need to know how you design it. Because for example, if you are a person who is building a house, you know how to plan before you build that house. You cannot just go into building without planning. And you will not go and build a house that you have not demonstrated in maybe a paper or a map or written. You always do all of those things. All of those things should also be applied in farming. Farming should not be neglected. It should not be a neglected something. People should take into consideration all of those things. Another one is the trees. She has already talked about it. She has already explained it. And the trees also help what? In wind. When wind is coming with speed, it can uproot your plantains. But if the trees are there, the trees will act like a shield to prevent that wind from pushing those plantains or maize or crops down. Thank you very much.
And it gives you, it hurts no one to plant a tree. Like Motia said, plant a fruit tree. Years to come, you'll still be the one to go and harvest this mango. You know, I come from Tico where fruits there are a very important source of income. You see, during this mango season, people are earning hundreds of thousands just for mangoes. You can see just one mango tree, somebody selling one mango tree for 30,000-40,000 pounds. And the person who is even buying that mango tree just for that season, is buying the mango tree and is even getting more than that. So it's not just for the benefit of the crops, but also for multi-sourcing of income. But then again, let me bring you, Felicia, to another point, another perspective of this. I don't know if it is still, if we still plant ridges, and I don't know if it is advisable to plant ridges, but some few years back, I remember discussing with my mother, and she was telling me about how to farm when you are on the hilly side. You know, as we're talking about the rainy season, even when the flood does not come, even when the heavy water does not come, just normal rainwater may come and destroy your crops. And I heard her saying, if I'm not, this should be horizontal. If you're on a hilly side, you plant on a vertical, on a straight line going up. That at least you leave way for water to pass through. But you should not plant on a horizontal side, so when water does not come and destroy it. Maybe you can give.
Yeah, thank you. I relate with you more and with your mother. You know, there is this technique in agriculture that they call mulching. Farmers, please, nothing is useless in the farm. Even those dry grasses like that, it's good that when you are doing your clear, when you finish doing your clear, see how you keep your grass. When you plant your crop, sometimes people do this cover cropping, that they will take the dry grass, they put it, then they till little soil on it. With regenerative agriculture, we promote minimal tillage. It's not for you to build a very big hill. You think that that's where your crop will produce well. So if you are to plant, please, you go for horizontal planting. It's good you plant horizontal, so that if in case there is too much rainfall, the water now will just pass through the rows and it will move. And also, I still encourage looking at the nature of your farm. For you as a farmer, when you plant even in horizontally, those rows like that, you make use of it. You can still put some spots of maize so that you harvest it. I encourage, one of the best technique in agriculture is that you see how you make use of the entire piece of land, not that you waste on piece of land like those rows. You see spot out some maize on it. So farmers, you see how you plant, but horizontally, and those dry grasses, like now that the maize must have increased their height, you take those dry grasses, you put it under. You take those dry grasses, you put it under your cocoyam, even under your plantain. It helps to rebuild the soil. It brings organism, because as the grass will keep on decomposing, it brings organism that they are like soldiers in the soil. It helps to reduce erosion, because people think when they talk of rain, it's like it's too much rain. No, the little rain that will fall that side is washing away the soil. You see how you put those grasses will help to reduce erosion in the soil too.
All right, thank you very much. Such an educative session right here. You can see I have my pen and paper and I'm jotting down things. Hopefully you're jotting too. But at least even if you're not jotting, you're listening with both ears and not just listening. But we're hoping that you implement this so that your farm yields can be productive. When you harvest those maize, they come out very bountiful. And so when I beg you for when I beg you for a tuber cocoyam or maize or whatever, I know we used to give you because you have plenty.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course, time is slowly catching up against us, ladies and gentlemen. You're on to the program Nature's Corner right here over our television. And Felicia, we the production team is slowly beckoning on us to wrap up since we're a few minutes away from time. So maybe there's anything you'd want to add again, Minaj, Felicia, on this aspect of agriculture, the planting season, the crops, and even how to adapt to disasters.
Okay, for my viewers, please, I'm begging on everyone. It is better late than never. See how you plant something this season. Even beside your house, see how you get broken containers. See how you plant vegetable, plant water leaf. Let's see how we can cultivate something. Own a piece of land. Let's plant. It's very encouraging for you to eat something that you are the one that planted it. And we are talking about disaster. Those that have their farm around rivers, there's flash flood, because those are small cases that we'll be getting. Please, this season like this, see how you avoid cultivating in those areas. We have off season that you can confidently cultivate beside streams, beside rivers, that you will now be taking your water and you are applying on your vegetable. This moment like this, it is rainy season. Keep the area, let it fallow very well. And I will always say, young people, we own the population. Young people, please, let's embrace agriculture and let's go in for organic farming. It is better late than never. See how you own the farm this year. Thank you.
All right, over to you, Minaj. The last word to the topic.
Of course, I have a last word for my farmers. First of all, as an agricultural expert, a growing one at that, first of all, advise that as a farmer, we should make use of the agricultural organizations around us. Don't be a farmer that you are doing your things. You have people, you have experts that you can meet that can educate you on how to go. Don't take the layman's way. The way this person is planting this thing is the same way you want to do it, or you say no, that's not the language that we should use in agriculture. We should always make use of the ministries around us. And while going into planting, take note of the site that you're selecting, because you are talking of flooding. You know where you are planting, you know that the area that you're cultivating your crop is safe. Another one is that you know your varieties, because as climate is changing, new pests are coming up, new diseases are coming up. So you need to buy resistant and certified seed. Don't go to the market and buy any kind of seeds. And when you buy seeds from the market, you know how to select them, because there are ways that you can distinguish between a good and a bad seed. If you start seeing seeds that weevils are fed on them, you know that the seeds are not good seeds. You need to look at all those things. You need to look at the size of the seed. Another one is you monitor your farm. That's another word that I want to give to farmers. You monitor your farm. Look at it. If you are seeing changes, you know how to adjust those changes. Another one is what? You budget. If you are going into farming, you know that I'm budgeting. I'm using this amount. I'm using this amount to plant. I'm using this amount to raise crops, or I'm using this amount for my commercial purpose. If I'm producing maize, for example, or if I'm producing tomatoes, and you know when to plant it, because there are seasons where in Boyaye tomatoes are very cheap. The value for tomato will drop because everybody is cultivating tomato. But if you know that technique, to know that at this time tomato will be scarce and you go into production, you'll be able to make income from that tomato. All right, that's all I will have to say. Thank you very much, Ma'am JB.
Yeah, I think this would be a topic of discussion for another day: storage and farming, so as to target days of shortages and scarcity. Because I think you mentioned how to store,
Yeah.
so we can meet up when, for
Yeah.
instance, now we are all planting maize, and now when we have harvested and all been consumed, like egusi, you discover that maybe months like December, egusi, the price for egusi has skyrocketed, and because there is little egusi circulating around. So I'm sure that will be a topic for another day. But just before we leave, ladies and gentlemen, let me play a little game with Felicia and Lina. She cannot come and go back without me, gingering them up a little bit.
All right.
Let me start with you, Felicia. Yeah, you see, your volunteer is here. If you mess up, I will join her to laugh at you serious. Now let's let's go to general knowledge and videos. Let me ask you this question we used to play with in secondary and primary school. Listen carefully. I have a house. Yeah, I leave my house, no doors, no windows. But on returning, I meet somebody inside. What am I?
This one is difficult. This one is difficult. This one is difficult.
It's around your milieu. I'm only taking it from your milieu. I built my house, left it no door, no window. But on returning, I met somebody in the house.
Is it a crop? I can
It's-
plant my crop, going and coming. It was
The crop is an open space.
it's an open space.
I'm saying I built my house,
Okay.
no door, no window. I left it, and on coming, I met somebody in there. What am I?
To be sincere, I cannot. To be honest.
They actually want to help you.
Let me try. It can be a pest or an insect.
It's a pear.
Ah,
an avocado.
a pear.
An avocado.
Avocado. Okay.
When a pear is forming, there's no door, there's no window, you just see a seed inside.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
Okay, let me get you. You're saying, yeah, that's right. It has to be simple. I'll try to make it simple for you, When I was born, I was white. When I became a youth, I was red. Now that I'm old, I'm black. Hey, Felicia, there is no.
No, I'm not. I don't even want to look at her. But I can help her.
Don't help her. She didn't help you.
Okay.
What am I?
When you were.
When I was born, I was white. Now I'm a bit older. I'm a youth. I'm red, and now I'm older. I am black. What am I?
Should
I'm
I
looking
help?
at you.
I'm not looking.
White,
I'm not
red,
looking.
and black.
When I was born, I was white.
Yes.
When I became a youth, I was red. Now that I am older, I am black. What am I?
It can be a fruit.
I don't know. I have no idea.
A fruit.
What fruit?
There is
It's the plum fruit.
yes.
Plum fruit.
Yes.
I'm happy I play with you guys. Thank you very much for coming to the show. It's a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having much fun as we are here in the studio, and I'm hoping you're also informed. Thank you very much for staying glued right from 3 p.m. right up to now. It has been a pleasure having your company. We hope you take the ride of the way again next week, Thursday, same time, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. right here over High Television. Of course, with me, Jabi KT. Do all to put to practice what we have said, all of what we have said, and just remind you of what we discussed throughout the program. In the beginning of the program, we told you that at least 39 persons have been killed in Pakistan, with several other persons displaced due to lightning and flooding situations. Dubai too on Tuesday, in the United Arab Emirates, particularly Dubai, they witnessed a storm which also resulted in flooding situations, which made the Dubai airport to be blocked for a while, and persons were trapped in traffic due to flooding situations. We also told you about coral reefs, ocean corals that are turning white, and it will affect us because our fishes depend on these corals, and when they turn white, our fishes they no longer provide a safe habitat for our fishes. Our fishes can no longer reproduce or have something to eat, and would affect us because we depend on fishes to eat and for income as well. We also have in the studio Mocha Felicia and Milinaj, who have been here since 2 p.m. to talk to us about seed production, about crop production rather, the kind of seeds to plant, the farming techniques to use, and how to adapt to disasters such as floods. We hope you had a nice a session right here with us, and of course do well to continue watching High Television for other interesting programs that may come up after this. Production expertise for this program came from Thankful Clothing, who've had moral support from Aisha Mbeng, who has been in charge of the makeup studio, ensuring that we look this beautiful as we are right now on the screens. We have Alizi Communique on standby, who has been providing moral support and supervision, and of course general supervision from the manager of High TV, Eno Ayuk Humphrey. Meantime, bye bye, to have a nice day.